Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether y'all are watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm always glad you're here. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I want to take a quick second and say thank you to all the channel members. Thank you guys all. I appreciate you. And thank you to anybody coming in to watch the knife and EDC content. I appreciate your interest. I hope you find it entertaining, informative. If you like it and you'd like to be informed when I release new content, if you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon, it also really helps me out. So today I was going to bring you my top 5 pocket dropper fixed blades. Pocket dropper to me kind of takes out the ulti clip, even though I know that's a pocket dropper too, but since I'm trying to find different ways to break out and bring the collection to you guys, I was going to have this kind of qualifier be, it has a little leather, I guess you call it a little leather pocket sheath where you can drop it in your pocket and it, it rides like your primary knife would inside its sheath, inside your pocket. So that's how we're going to classify these pocket droppers. And before we jump into it, because when we count them, I think we're going to come up with right around 5. I didn't want to leave out one that's more of a budget pocket dropper. And I say budget, we'll say value pocket dropper. This is the Mercury Knives Kali, K-A-L-I-E. These are available at different knife manufacturers or knife retailers. I picked mine up at White Mountain Knives, and I was able to use my Javon 10 code and save an extra 10%, or any of your favorite creators codes to save extra 10%. But this is a sheep's foot. They also make this knife in a clip point or a drop point. I think it's a clip point more than a drop point. But it's a great little knife, well under $100, in 690. I need to run this across the sharpener. But yeah, great little knife. My car to handle, in 690, blade steel. Not the finest of leather sheaths, but a great little pocket dropper that works very well, keeps it in your pocket, has a lanyard hole. And again, this isn't one of my top 5, but I do want to show that there are some great pocket droppers out there that are value knives, even though there might not be a lot of value knives in the ones that I'm going to show, because these are kind of, like I said, the top of mine. Starting out with number 5, we've seen this knife in a lot of different small EDC fixed blade videos because it's one of my favorites. This is the Jakeb Creates Chickadee. I've got 2 that I carry in pocket droppers. One's in a left-handed pocket dropper sheath that I keep in my back pocket, and one is a right-handed for my right pocket, and of course the knives are interchangeable. This is my S90V full flat grind Chickadee. It is the first Chickadee that I got. Brother Honey Bear made this one available for me. And it is probably, besides my Magna Cut, which isn't out here, is probably my sliciest. And then I've got this 20CV 3/4 flat grind, full flat up here, that is very slicey too. Don't get me wrong. Just a great, I've still got a little nick that I got to work out of that blade right there that I've been working on. But anyway, both very, very slicey, very small. So keep in mind, I would not recommend this as your primary carry unless you were just going to go to the office and you just had to work, around some boxes that you might be opening. But as a accessory knife or an additional knife, a small pocket dropper, this is a great little tool. I will find that when I'm using it to open packages, to cut paracord, to do those daily, my brain goes to, I need to cut this, that if I've got a pocket dropper, I'm much more likely just to pull it out of my pocket than I am to deploy my folder. That's just the way my brain rolls. So I wanted to come in at number 5 with the Jakeb Creates Chickadee. This is an Oak City leather sheath. They make them for a lot of different knives. I'll try to remember to leave a link to their website because you can kind of go in and do the pull down for the different knife that you want to have a sheath quoted for. You can choose the thread color, the rivet color. You can choose the type of clip. We'll see in a minute on another knife. I've got a couple of different clips. Just a really cool sheath maker, in my opinion. So that is the Jakeb Creates Chickadee at number 5, and that brings us to number 4. And this particular sheath or pocket dropper is a super cool Lancelot leather. Again, an awesome slip maker, sheath maker. And this has his custom Lynch pocket clip sewn into it with the feather there. This clip goes in and out of pocket great. As you can tell, it's more slip sized, but he made this for this small little J-cow. This is a little handcrafted Jason Grant J-cow. It's what I'd call a micro J-cow. It's got hand jimping and some pretty thick blade stock. This is not your thin slicer, even though it will slice. Let's see what we got here. I'm on inches. So I'm at 0.1885, so almost 1/5 of an inch thick. So very chunky, beautiful Ultim handles. You got the signature Jason Grant coffin cut out in the center for weight relief and for balance. This little knife's balanced very well. It is thick, but it comes down to a very keen edge. Again, very thick. But when we're talking about getting into whatever we need to get into, this little guy will cut. And I love it. What I love about Jason's knives are the individuality, the personality, the pieces of art that they are, knowing that all this is done by hand, all this detail work, all this, what I consider these imperfections to me are what make the knife beautiful. I love it. I love this little sheath, and I would love that I got the opportunity to pick this up from a brother on the secondary market. You know who you are, but this is a Lancelot leather slip. I'll also leave a link to the EDC roundtable and to Joe's information, and this is Jason Grant J-cow. Moving on to, I believe we'd be at number 3, something like that. This is an interesting little pocket dropper. This is a knife that had been on my radar for a very long time. Didn't really know what to expect. It is a Böker Barlow BFF. Doesn't have anything to do with a folding Barlow. Doesn't look like any folding Barlow. But it has this really nice leather sheath that drops into your pocket very well, whether I carry it in my back pocket or if I carry it in my right pocket. It's this neutral little, what I would call hunting style, paring style. They call it a Barlow style knife. Kind of a scanty grind. Nice micarta handles. You've got this really nice copper tube or brass tube for a lanyard and a copper or brass pin. You've got this ABL steel. It is a Soligen Germany Böker. This knife sharpens up very well. It's a great knife on a stone. Feels fantastic on a stone. I'm a huge fan of it. It's neutral. It's not too exciting. However, it's very effective. So as a secondary carry or even as a primary carry on my urban EDC, I'm never going to need more blade than that. So by having that in my right pocket, I don't necessarily need a folder if I'm going out in the city. I've got a knife with that much exposed, and I've got easy access to it. So this little Böker Barlow BFF, in my opinion, is a banger. I like it a whole lot, and we will keep moving on. And I think that brings us again to number 3, because I can't count. But this is a minimalistic knife. This is, again, a great, I would call it, enhancement to my primary carry. And depending on how urban I was going to be, this could handle as my primary carry. Because what this is this is the Suprlativ Hella, this small little skeletonized chunk of M390 with these Mars Valley carbon fiber scales or insets. Superlative there. You've got your blade steel there. It has a place for a lanyard, which if you had a bigger finger or bigger hand, you might like a short lanyard to give you more grip there. For me, it's perfect. Because again, for what I'm using the knife for, it's cutting lightly. Like if I'm trying to get a fire started, will this knife do it? Absolutely. This knife is able to do just about anything my bigger knives are, except it's limited by this length of the blade. So you've got a shorter blade there. I believe it's probably going to come in right around 2 inches, which it does. Which for my city slicker lifestyle, which is really not that slick, it just happens to be in the city. I'm opening packages, guys. I'm cutting the occasional paracord that I'm doing a project with. I might cut out something that I'm using for a label, whatever it may be, right? But this is a Suprlativ Hella. Really nice little knife, one that I've used a lot more than I thought I would. I love the slip. I love the fact that it goes in and out of pocket with ease, and it stays in pocket when you deploy the knife. So whether you're carrying it in your back pocket, whether you're carrying it in your front pocket, it is a thin little tool. So moving on, I think that brings us to number 2. And number 2 is probably the beefiest sheath in this top 5. And it's also probably the longest knife. This is another Soligen Germany Böker. This is the Böker AK1 reverse tanto with the built-in ulti-clip. This would be in my daily carry. This would replace my primary carry. I would carry it in my right pocket. I have carried this also as a supplemental in my back pocket. But to me, it does a lot better as a primary because it is up to any task that I'm going to be running into. For example, it's going to be a little bit smaller than my bug out, but it's not going to be a lot smaller. And when I put those blades together, I've got just as much cutting area with my little AK1 as I do with my bug out. So this is the Böker Daily Carry AK1. It is a fantastic knife. It is wonderfully balanced, therapeutically slicey, an EDC dream. They make this knife in several different quote-unquote trim levels. This one was a little bit more on the pricey side, right under 300. I think I got it around Black Friday with carbon fiber and RWL 34. However, I found this knife also, and I don't have it with me because it's not in a leather slip. It actually ships with a Kydex sheath. I picked this knife up in N690 with an American Tanto blade, same Böker Daily Carry, same package in terms of grip, size, and it was like $169. So it's actually a really good value. And if I'm going to talk about it, I might as well ramble while I walk back here and grab it so I can actually show you what it looks like. Even though it's not quote-unquote a pocket dropper, it actually is. It just doesn't have the leather sheath. I've got it set up to be carried vertically in a pocket, but this is the same knife, different blade style, different handle material, still full tank construction, but it doesn't have this removable lanyard tube, which this one does. It allows you to flip it inside out. But it is made in Böker Germany, or in Soligen Germany. This one's N690 instead of RWL, and this one fits the same sheath. So if I wanted to carry either one of these as a pocket dropper in this sheath, I could. The Kydex sheath, of course, is only going to fit my American Tanto. So that is our number 2 pocket dropper of my current carry. It's the Böker Daily Carry AK1. Fantastic sheath, fantastic knife, definitely a primary carry replacement. It gives me plenty of blade, plenty of surface cutting area, and I love it. Moving on to our number 1, there could only be one, right? We've seen this knife before. I can't stress how wonderful it is. This is a Denny, Tyler Denny Apprentice. This is the Gen 2, which is notable based on the plunge grind being a little further back, and now you have screwed on scales, which will hopefully give us the option that he'll have time to release some carbon fiber scales and some other scales. This is also an Oak City leather slip, which is just like the sheath that I was showing you earlier. And the reason I bring this one back out is the customizability, where if you look at an Oak City leather slip, and I have no affiliation with them, you can choose your thread, which I did to match these scales. You can choose your hardware, color depending on what your jam is. In all truth, I probably could have gone with the silver for the blade, but I went with black. And you can choose the mounting clip. There are a couple of different ulti clips. There are a couple of different this is another one of the Apprentices with a different Oak City leather slip. So with our number 1 pocket dropper, I've got a version 1 and a version 2 to show you guys. And then I've got a deep carry Oak City leather slip with a deep concealment clip and green thread, brown leather. And then I've got the shorty sheath with the ulti clip. So what you've essentially got is I've got this as a pocket dropper, which gives me this much of the knife exposed. So I typically carry this in my back pocket as a supplement, just because the blade steel, it's such a short cutting area, about 2 inches. It can by all means be my primary EDC. This one is in crew wear in satin grind. This one, the Gen 1, that has a little bit closer plunge grind here, still plenty of sharpening area, and it has the pinned micarta, vintage micarta scales as opposed to the screwed on, so they're there, right? And it's got the acid etch versus the satin. But these little knives are just absolutely fantastic. They are super light, super minimalistic, super pokey. These slips go in the pocket very well. This deep carry in my right pocket or in my back pocket goes down to right there. So I've got very little knife exposed, and I can grip it and rip it with no problem. Then with the shorty clip, the shorty slip, also in my right pocket, I've got more handle to grab, but I've got more of the handle sticking out. However, it doesn't look like much when it's sticking out. So this is, and these are, the T. Denny Apprentice. I think my favorite pocket dropper knife. These guys come from T. Denny with a Kydex sheath, which works great. The Kydex sheaths, there's nothing at all wrong with them. When I just look at a pocket dropper, when I was looking at these, I wanted to look at them with the leather pocket dropper sheath / slip, because to me, that's a little bit different. But yeah, guys, these are my top 5. They're actually 6. One of them, or 2 of them, they're 2 different versions because I love the knives. With the Chickadee, I actually have 3. The other one's in a Kydex sheath. But these are small knives with the exception of the BFF and with the exception of the daily carry, which are a little bit longer. And then I've got room to put that American daily carry in there. Let's see. Let's put it here. And let's put this here. And let's put that there. So all of these come with their leather slips, ready to go. Even our budget entry with our Mercury Cali that you can get in the sheep's foot or in a drop point. All of these are great, worthy little contenders. But I'm glad you guys stopped by. I'm glad you guys watch my content. I hope you're enjoying it. All I ask is please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for one another. Go forward with love in your hearts. And please choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.